Community Forum is sponsored by the Easton Grange 196 and a friend of Yardley Wood Rink and the Easton Lions Club.
There's a storm across the valley, the clouds are rolling in. The afternoon is heavy on your shoulders. There's a truck out on the 4-lane, a mile or more away. The whining of his wheels just makes it colder.
Welcome to Community Forum. Today is March 26th, 2025. I'm Priscilla Almquist-Olsen, your host today and every day on Community Forum. And it's a pleasure to welcome Susanne Rogers and David Olson from Unity Church here in Northeastern. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yes.
Thank you.
And so tell us a little bit about this wonderful concert that's coming up, but give us a little prelude about why you're celebrating and what you're celebrating.
So our church building, Unity Church, is celebrating 150 years this year. It was built in 1875, and the Unitarian congregation there predates the building, but we have been in existence for a little longer than 150 years, but have been in that building. It was erected by Oliver Ames Jr., who lived right next door in what's now called Unity Close.
Yeah, and tell us a little bit about Old Oliver, we call him, right?
Yes, there's Old Oliver the father, and then Oliver the son is Oliver Jr.
So which one was it?
It was Oliver Jr. that gave the money for the church. Oliver Sr. lived next door to him, so it was a progression of Ames's, Old Oliver, Oliver the son, and then they built Unity Church. And it really came out of the community in Northeastern looking for a church and a minister. There had been a Methodist church right down in the center of town. It was where the Rockery is now in that triangle. There was a Methodist church. And unfortunately, they couldn't find a Methodist minister to staff it. Well, they did find one, but then they couldn't come up with the money to pay him. So he did not stay very long. And then after that, Oliver Ames said, I will contribute the funds if we get a Unitarian minister. And the town went along with it, or Northeastern went along with it. And they hired a minister, and he preached out of that old Methodist church for quite a while, until they decided to build the new church just down the street. And again, it was land that was owned by Oliver Ames the Younger, who donated a trust fund to build the church and then to keep it up. And they were looking for architects to design the building. And there is some thought that maybe Richardson was asked to design the building, but he did not end up actually doing the design. It was John Ames Mitchell, who was a cousin that had gone to architect school and decided to give him the commission to design the church, and he's the one that designed it. In 1875, when it opened, it was quite stunning inside, in that it was very brightly colored. All of the walls were stenciled in bright colors. The organ that was in there, Hook and Hastings organ, was built specifically for the church. It had brightly colored pipes, like the one at Trinity Lutheran in Easton, where you can see the pipes, and they're all beautifully colored. Unity's organ looked like that when it was first installed. And then sometime later, at the end of the 1800s, it was decided to redesign the interior a little bit. and that's when the beautiful Lafarge windows were installed. The Johannes Kirchmeier screen at the front of the church. The paint and coloring was designed by Vaughan, who brought it more to a classical look. And unfortunately, all that wonderful stenciling, that beautifully colored stenciling, got painted over. But you can still see remnants of it today in the bell tower. It had a beautifully painted blue ceiling, like you were looking up into the sky. When the screen went in, with all those wonderful carved angels along the front, the organ console had to be moved, and all of the organ pipes ended up behind the screen. So you don't see them any longer, but the organ is still there, and it is a gorgeous instrument.
It really is, and I remember Dick Hill, who was the consummate organist, and he would often come to Holy Trinity Lutheran and give everybody concerts, and because he loved our organ. It was from, I think, 1869, and it came from a prominent church in Boston, and they couldn't, I think they couldn't fit it in their new church or something like that.
I've heard that story, yes.
Yeah. So we were the beneficiaries of this wonderful organ. It's great tunes and beautiful pipes.
Yes.
So it's 150 years. That's just amazing, isn't it?
It is amazing that building has been in continuous use for that long. I don't know that it's the oldest church building in Easton, but it's continuously by one denomination has been used. And it really is the Ames family over the generations that have helped to make that church survive.
Yeah. Well, I think the oldest church in Easton is now part of a restaurant, and that was the Covenant Congregational Church.
Yes.
And that was erected in, I think, 1891. I mean, that's not the oldest, it's the second oldest.
Yep.
You're the oldest.
Yep.
And then 1 year later, the Lutheran Church, it was called the Swedish Evangelical Lebanon Lutheran Church, on the corner of Jenny Lind Street and Williams, and that was 1892. So I think we're 130 something years old.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. And it's how small Easton is. My grandmother immigrated from Sweden and ended up living, and she and her brother lived in the area of that church in the 1890s. And eventually, my great uncle worked for the Ames Shovel Shop.
Of course, all the Swedes did.
All the Swedes did.
Yeah.
And my grandmother met a guy from Brockton from First Lutheran, or at that point it was the Swedish Evangelical Lutheran Church.
Right.
And moved to Brockton. Yes.
Was that your mother's or your father's mother?
That was my father's mother.
I see.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, and so your father then grew up in First Lutheran.
He grew up in First Lutheran, grew up in Brockton.
And he convinced your Easton mother.
Well, my mother actually wasn't from Easton. She was from Rainham.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes. And they met at First Lutheran in Brockton. And after they got married in '59, moved to Easton. And I was born in 1960 and grew up through college here in Easton, moved away for a little bit,
right,
and then came back with my family, my wife and my kids.
Oh, that's nice.
I've raised them here.
What a
in
good
Easton.
story. You know, and of course, David's mother was Priscilla Olson. Does that sound familiar? But the spelling is different. The Olson, David's Olson is Olson, and that's the Swedish. It's really Ole's son, and son is son, S-O-N, in English, son. So it's son of Ole.
Yes.
And
cool.
my former husband's name is Olson, O-L-S-E-N, and the S-E-N is Norwegian on his father's side, but his mother was Swedish.
Okay.
David is laughing because that's an old always that little competition between the Swedes and the Norwegians.
Definitely.
But
Really?
basically, you know, they have the same language. I speak Swedish pretty fluently. And like when I'm in Norway, I speak Swedish, they speak Norwegian, and we understand each other perfectly well. So,
I wish I was able to speak Swedish, but I'm not.
did your
very good
mother
at it.
speak Swedish?
She did not. She only spoke English. My father, growing up, his parents spoke Swedish at home, but wouldn't teach their kids.
Oh, that is so common.
Yes.
Yeah, my mother was fortunate. Well, she was 6 years old when her dad died, so they were just her older sister and her mother, the three of them. So lots of Swedish going on there.
Yes. Yes.
And and my mother could write beautiful Swedish and speak it fluently. She was amazing.
I remember her.
But the
yes.
story I wanted to say is that Priscilla Olsen, David's mother, was, as a member of First Lutheran in Brockton, she was a member of the Martha Guild. And somehow my mother joined the Martha Guild. I think she had friends there, and they asked her to join. Even though she was a member of the Lutheran Church in Easton, she was also a member of the Brockton Lutheran Church and their Martha Guild. And she got her 50-year pin a few months before she died. So she was very active in that. And David's mother, Priscilla, helped my mother at Kaffeestuga, which was a big fair held every 3 years, and in the import table. And my mother would go to Sweden, and she'd order things from Sweden. I mean, she always went to Sweden anyway to see the family, but she'd always make these trips to order and stuff, you know. And they would all dress in their Swedish costumes on that day.
Cool,
And,
that's cool.
Yeah. So I've known Priscilla Olsen for a long time, since I was a little girl.
So there's a lot of roots here in Easton, from our roots to Unity Church, and we've got a lot going on this year to celebrate those roots with the 150th
Yeah, so
anniversary of
Susanne, would
the
you tell us
building.
about how you're going to celebrate a 150-year birthday?
Sure, I said love to. As you mentioned, Dick Hill was our music director for many, many years. So music is definitely a hallmark of our church. It always has been. And so this year, we're celebrating our 150th anniversary, and we're going to celebrate it with music. And it's called Seasons of Music. We are going to be putting on a series of 4 concerts, one in the spring, summer, fall, and winter. And each concert will feature world-class musicians, and our major promoter is our pianist who lives here in Easton. Her name is Asiya Korepanova. She is a classical pianist. She's from Moscow originally. She lives here in Easton, and she just loves our church and the acoustics, more importantly, of the interior of our church. And so she has put on concerts at our church before, and she was the one who said she'd be willing to organize the series. So we said, okay, let's call it the Seasons of Music at Unity Church to celebrate our 150th. So our very first concert is going to be titled Spring, and it's on April 6th at 4 p.m.
Is that a Sunday?
Yes,
It's
yes.
Sunday
They will
afternoon.
all be on a Sunday afternoon. Yes, all of the concerts. You can go to Unity Church, our website, and our Facebook page to get more information on the concerts. There is a nominal ticket fee, but we're just so excited to be able to do this and to honor the music tradition at Unity Church.
Yes.
That's the main thing. In fact, we even have a trust fund left from the Ameses specifically for music.
Wonderful.
So that's how ingrained it is. So we're happy to be having this series of concerts.
So David, how did you manage to? Well, you knew this pianist before.
She has played at Unity Church before, and she is absolutely fantastic. She is world renowned. She is on tour right now, and she'd be here today if she wasn't out playing. She travels the world, playing the piano, playing with other musicians.
And she lives in Easton.
And she lives in Easton, yes, yes.
I mean, it's amazing how many people are living in Easton and we're not aware of them.
Yes. So she did a wonderful holiday concert for us this past holiday season. Very well attended at the church. It was piano and organ. And she had a fellow organist. They did 2 pianists on 1 piano. We got a beautiful Steinway piano at Unity Church. And it really was a fantastic concert. The series that is coming together, she's going to play the first concert in April, on April 6th. But then she's got some of her friends coming for the next 3. And she has got Rodney Marsalis, the trumpetist,
Oh my goodness.
who is coming. And
From the
she-
famous Marsalis family?
Yeah,
Yes,
a cousin of,
Yeah, so they're going to do duets of piano and trumpet.
Oh my gosh.
And then in the fall, it's Vivaldi's The Seasons. It's the 300th anniversary of his writing of the 4 Seasons. So we have a chamber orchestra and a violinist, Irina Marisonau, who will be performing selections from the 4 Seasons for the anniversary of Vivaldi's 4 Seasons. And then this winter, we'll have a wonderful organ and piano concert again for the holidays.
Oh, how nice.
Organ, piano, and if you missed it last year, we had the church illuminated with candles. And the music. It was just gorgeous. We're going to be doing the same thing again this year with a holiday gala concert.
Nice. Wonderful. It's just, it's amazing that we have people living in Easton and they're very quiet and not seen, but that's because they like that. You know, we respect people's privacy and I'm sure they're enjoying all that Easton has to offer culturally.
Yes.
And now you are helping us on that cultural journey.
Yes, we hope to get the whole community in to hear these wonderful musicians, experience the church if they haven't been in Unity Church before. It's a wonderful look at the late early 1900s here in Easton and what was going on with the beautiful stained glass in the church, the beautiful woodwork, the architecture, and it really will be a wonderful concert series.
Now, the Lafarge windows that you speak of, they are just magnificent, and I believe they are the largest in the world.
One of them is
By Lafarge,
by Lafarge. Yes,
Yeah, by
one of
him.
them is the one of ours in Unity is the largest Lafarge window in the world. It's one of his later pieces, and it is absolutely gorgeous. Actually, the space that window occupies originally had been a window that was designed by John Ames Mitchell, when he built the church. When they decided to put a new memorial window in, they actually gave that window to Immaculate Conception. And that window is now in Immaculate Conception.
Really?
Yep.
So one of the Ames family employees was a Catholic individual and was going to Immaculate Conception, and they donated it to Immaculate Conception in his honor.
Nice.
So that window didn't disappear. It's still here in Easton and
Still in Easton.
in another church.
So, Mr. Ames Mitchell, what was his first name?
John Ames Mitchell.
Mitchell. He was very talented. If he was,
He was, and actually he didn't stick with architecture.
right. He's stained glass.
And he didn't stick with stained glass either.
No.
He went on to become a publisher and published Life magazine.
Was it Life? Life magazine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
The original publisher of Life magazine.
Oh my
Hello.
goodness. Wow.
Yep.
So that's really old too, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just to speak about Asiya just a little more, you mentioned, you made a point to say that, that she lives in Easton and how fortunate we are to have this type of talent. At the Christmas concert, a whole group of her neighbors came to the church. And I was setting up candles and doing things, so these people started talking to me, and they said how they were her neighbors and how she holds little concerts in her house and invites the neighbors to come in and listen to her play.
Oh my goodness.
Now, how cool is that?
Yes, yes.
I mean, Asiya is a very community-oriented person. She loves giving back to the community. In fact, we've kind of given her the distinction of being Unity Church's artist in residence, and for helping us with this concert series to celebrate our anniversary. But she would like to expand and possibly get into the Easton school system and start promoting classical music to young people. And she's done workshops before with children, and she just thinks it's so important that children understand classical music, that it shouldn't be foreign to them.
Yeah, now I do believe that the orchestra is still in Easton schools, junior high and high school.
Yes.
Yeah, I was in the orchestra back in the day, and do you remember Robert King?
Yes.
I believe he was a member of the Unity Church, and I learned recently that it was the Ames family who paid him to come to the Northeastern Grammar School, and in the basement he had children who were 8 years old. I was one of them, and we got free violins, and he taught us how to play the violin.
Wonderful.
And it was no cost to us or our parents. What he was doing was cultivating future violinists in his junior high and high school orchestra. Yeah,
Yes.
so, and I was blessed to be the concert mistress in high school in his orchestra, and he was a wonderful and generous man too. And maybe you could share some of that with
with Asiya.
Robert King, right?
Yeah. Isn't that interesting?
That's cool.
Wow.
And with this concert series is going to be fantastic, with people from outside coming in to the church to perform for Easton, and everybody is invited, and we hope you all can come. And for those who are really interested in the history of the building, we've got another event coming up on April 27th, which is going to be a collaboration between the Easton Historical Society and Ed Hand specifically, and the musicians of Unity Church. Unity Church has an organist, Nellie Case, who will play the organ. We have got a pianist. We've got an English handbell choir that has been in the church for quite a while, and a band. And that on the 27th, Ed is going to talk about the Lafarge windows and the conic windows and the Kirchmeier screen and the history of the building. And in between his sets, the musicians are going to play. So the handbells will play, the organist will play, and it will be a fun afternoon of both history
And the band
and
will
music.
play.
And the band will play.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that'll attract hopefully some younger people.
So again, we can help people get steeped into the surroundings, the beauty, the artwork, and the music at Unity Church.
Right. And when you say screen, it's misleading it's called a screen, but it's misleading, I think, to the public, because we put screens in our windows to keep the flies out, but this is not the case with this screen. It is wonderful carved figures of saints, right?
Angels.
They are angels that are each playing a different instrument.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
And so they're all carved, and the figures have got to be 4 feet high, right?
They're tall,
They're tall.
And Johannes Kirchmeier was the carver of these. They are actually independent pieces. They're carved 360. So even though you can't see the back when they're sitting in their niches in the screen, they're fully carved all the way around.
I see.
And they're just gorgeous.
Yeah, and he was a very famous German
Yes, I grew up in
woodworker.
Oberammergau and learned woodcraft there, and then came to New York and worked.
So
in
he
New
was
York
in
and Boston.
Oberammergau.
Yes.
Okay, I was just up the road in Irschenhausen. There was Wolfratshausen and then Irschenhausen. In Bavaria.
Yep. So, yeah, it's amazing just sort of what has come together at the Unity Church here in Easton.
And tell us a little bit about why, who attracted and paid for all these wonderful people from different countries, famous people.
Well, of course, the Ameses had a lot to do with it. Over the generations, the Ames family has continually supported the church, supported the building, and has given money to, as we said, trust funds for music, trust fund for the building, really bringing in sort of the cream of the crop into Easton to...
And I think it really, Joanne, don't you think it had a magnificent effect on people?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm 8 years old, learning to play the violin in the Northeastern Grammar School because the Ameses were paying Robert King to do that. And what other town would have
That's right.
a family which encouraged and created musicians
Yes.
and a love for music, which I have my whole life.
Right.
And academics as well. The Ames Free Library,
Right.
built by the Ameses as well, just down the street.
Right.
So,
Right. And we have like 3.5 minutes left.
If I might just say something, one other thing
Sure.
about the building itself, it really is a memorial. It's because within the building there are busts and plaques that memorialize various Ames family members. So this whole structure has so much history and homage to the Ames family.
And if you're willing to take a stroll behind the church, you'll see the village cemetery. And all the Ameses are built and buried there, and they're on this hill,
Yeah,
you know,
the hill.
because they had to be the highest
Yeah.
of all the graves.
Yeah.
And if you worked for the Ameses, you got to be buried there,
Yeah.
and your family.
yes.
Yeah.
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 So it's really interesting. So April 6th, Sunday, 4 p.m., Unity Church on North Main, or is it Main?
It's Main Street.
Main
Main
Street.
Street. We know where that
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
We know where the church is.
13 Main Street.
Yeah.
13. And
Tickets are $10.
Yeah.
okay, and can you buy the ticket at the store? At
You
the door?
can buy it at the door as long as we still have space available.
Mm-hmm.
They're also available through the Unity Church website. You can buy
Okay.
your tickets there.
Yeah.
And that is up and running now. So if you want to purchase tickets, go to Unity Church of Northeastern and look for the events at the bottom of the homepage, and you can buy your tickets.
Great.
And you
So-
can follow us on Facebook
Yes.
Right.
for more concert series information.
Right.
Yeah.
So go online on the website for Unity Church Northeastern and get your tickets before they run out.
Excellent.
And you're going to hear a world-class pianist who celebrated all over the world, right here in the little town of Easton.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
David
you.
Olson.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you very
you.
much.
David Olson and Joanne Rogers.
Suzanne.
Suzanne Rogers.
That's all right.
How did I do that?
It's okay.
Okay, it's just
Thanks.
like a senior moment.
Yeah.
I want to appreciate and I see that you are both working very diligently to make all of this happen. So I'm sure we all appreciate your efforts.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So
Yeah.
thank you. Until next time, Priscilla Almquist-Olsen, wishing you all well and be well.